Okay, everyone, I decided to make this video to bring some more clarification on a lot of my positions and where I stand. I think a lot of people would probably look at me as if I'm a full-on leftist. No, not necessarily. However, I do sympathize with many of their plights, even communists. I know a lot of people would be immensely surprised, but I do sympathize with the communist plight. Few things. I don't ultimately think that it's practical in any way, shape, or form. Specifically of anarcho-communism, I think humans should be able to evolve to the point where anarcho-communism can be downright fucking acceptable. America has the tendency of like, oh my god, let's not take any different ideas because we're fucking scared. By that, yeah, I'm calling a lot of them pussies. And I've seen people try and make the argument, oh, socialism's killed 100 fucking bajillion people, and then we can say, okay, what about people who died due to a lack of resources because they couldn't get it under capitalism? I wonder how many have died then. But ultimately, I'm not necessarily a socialist. I am more of a mixed economy kind of guy. I believe we should look at a society kind of like a car. Ultimately, you kind of have to have a bit of a utilitarian approach to it. And no, I don't mean utilitarianism and socially authoritarians. Fuck them. Fuck the social authoritarian conservatives. I think they're a bunch of cunts. Openly, I would call them cunts. Because they'll always, clutch the pearls. That basically their pearl necklace, it's basically just a bunch of come from the state, but but say position 1, abortion. I'm ultimately pro-choice. 1, it has nothing to do with me, and 2, if I was given the option to be a fucking aborted before I was born, I'd probably take it. And I would not care. I most definitely wouldn't care after, because I just wouldn't fucking exist and whatever. And ultimately, the reason why I come to this conclusion is based on this. If we could say that death is ultimately whenever your brain dies, as in, like, and also yourself just no longer exists because your brain is dead, ultimately, I would have to say that is also when life begins. That is when life as you actually begins. So, I say it's based off of brain development. Ultimately, I'm just pro-choice because there are also medical necessities for it. A lot of people don't really seem to take that into account, but nuance, whatever. Do I think it should be used as mere contraception? No, not really, but like I said, it's basically none of my business. Gay marriage, very pro-gay marriage. I'm a very staunch ally, and I'm also a very staunch ally to trans rights. Just because someone doesn't identify as what they were born with, just because the package is different from what they want, doesn't mean that they should be treated as anything less than human. Like common fucking decency. Have you heard of it? And the fact that we have people like fucking Matt Walsh, Jordan fucking Peterson, these disingenuous hacks who ultimately want to try and fucking say, oh, these people are pedophiles. And considering what happened recently with Matt fucking Walsh, hey Matt, no, you Jared Fogle sequel. Like, literally, if I wanted a sequel to Jared fucking Fogle from Subway, I would watch you. I'm glad that I don't. It's so fucking fascinating how we want to try and say that we're the best country. We're really not. Our infrastructure has been going to shit. Our education has definitely been going to shit. Thank you, conservatives and Republicans. And also, like, our happiness, it's been getting lower and lower. My guy, just because some socialism can be used for a bad thing does not mean that socialism as a concept is necessarily bad. It is how you utilize it and what we utilize it for. But you guys certainly love fucking public spending whenever it comes to the fucking military. Our military budget is fucking way fucking overbloated. We don't need to have 10 times as much as every other fucking country combined. Why the fuck do we have that? It's rather unnecessary at this point. And the same thing, nationalism, I've already made a video on nationalism. Nationalism is fucking stupidity. It's not in any way parallel, congruent with libertarianism. I would consider myself to be a left-leaning libertarian. I'm not a fucking ANCAP. I'm not a right-wing American libertarian. I'm more of a... I guess you could say the original context of libertarianism was in the left. I guess you can call me a left libertarian, a social libertarian. I do think that we should strive to help each other out. A society is founded on cooperation. If we can't even do that, then honestly, we don't deserve to call ourselves a fucking society. And conservatives, just because people don't want to fucking follow your bullshit rules in terms of social morals, doesn't mean that they're fucking immoral. Fuck you. You fucking tyrants. And also to the... I will say, I have issues with the left. Not everyone on the right is completely fucking racist or misogynistic or whatever. There is a lot of that on the right, I'm definitely not going to fucking say. And also, just because someone is a victim does not mean that they can't take any responsibility for their actions whenever they fuck up. And the whole cancel thing, I do think that there is a bit of an issue, and trust me, the right are basically a bunch of fucking hypocrites on this too. Trust me. The idea of free speech, it's rather fucking impossible considering, you know, the shit piece that we call humanity. Sorry, let's be fucking honest. If we're talking about a full-on marketplace of ideas where bad ideas are fucking defeated, there's a fatal flaw. No, they're not, because they're constantly thrown back in over and over and over again. And not even just that. A lot of people are too fucking stupid to realize when a bad idea is a bad idea and when it's been tried before. And history just fucking repeats itself. Not even just that, but we also have a bunch of fucking incredibly disingenuous, bad faith actors. There's a lot of them. Especially on, like, the major platforms. Like I've said, Libs of TikTok, Matt Walsh, Jordan Peterson is definitely one of them. He is a very, very bad faith actor. He tries to obfuscate from the fucking truth. Whenever he tries to give an example of what is postmodernism, he doesn't even fucking answer it correctly. He doesn't give you the fucking correct definition of postmodernism at all. He's a disingenuous hack. Not even just that, like, even whenever he tries to use science, his science is bullshit. It's pseudoscience. He lies to you. Yeah. Kitty saying hi. Come on. Say hi. That's her cat, Smokey. But, yeah, there's that. In terms of economics, I guess I would say that I started the political journey to the left ever since 2020 happened. Like, here's the thing. People like to try and say capitalism is this fucking perfect system. There's no such thing as a perfect system. The reason why practically every country has a bit of a mixed economy is for good fucking reason. 2020 should have showed us, hey, pure capitalism doesn't necessarily fucking work. Humans are corrupt, unethical beings. And I've had people trying to say, oh, I pity you that you are so cynical that you think that this won't happen. 2020 happened, my dudes. Are you seriously so fucking dense to try and think, oh, nothing bad happened in 2020. There's no flaw in the system whatsoever. There is flaws. There are flaws. 2020 just showed, it shat the fucking rug. It burned a hole in the rug with its shit. It shit itself so fucking hard, it just blasted a hole through the fucking Earth's core. And you fail to fucking realize it. I'm so fucking amazed. I'm so fucking amazed at the fact that you guys are like, nothing wrong, man. You guys are like this. Oh my god, you guys are like the stereotypical stoners. Oh my god. You're incredibly fucking utopian in your fucking ideals. No, it doesn't work. Pure fucking capitalism doesn't necessarily fucking work. Because in order for that to happen, everyone has to be ethical. And no, that ain't gonna happen. People will lie and do all kinds of crazy shit in order to fucking preserve their bias. Because they don't want to be proven wrong, even if the facts are just right there in front of them that they are wrong. They'll fucking willingly fucking just shoo away any fucking evidence against them. In that sense, and also like the idea of Hegel. I think Hegel and Marx were actually onto something. We're actually starting to see the end results of like the whole idea of the clash between different classes and class consciousness from Marx even now. It's pretty insane the fact that, you know, we fail to realize that. It's like Marx was onto something. He wasn't completely fucking correct, but there are some things and theories that he was possibly correct on. The whole idea of, I do think, say, a lot of, like, say, inflation and whatnot. Yeah, why are we having, like, you know, like, the highest profits and yet the fucking regular ass fucking working class people just get fucking scrapes? We get nothing but scraps. It's really fucking weird. And instead of cutting to their profits, what they do is they raise the cost of everything else. They don't raise the wages. Instead, they just raise the cost. So honestly, I do think that there's more to the whole inflation thing that going on than what a lot of people are really wanting to talk about. Our wages aren't necessarily going up, profits are, and so are prices. Why is that? I think that's actually something to really talk about. And it's something that I find rather worrying that we just kind of let that slide and we don't really talk about that. And I do think it's an important part, because honestly, in the whole idea of capitalism, inflation would be, let's see, inflation would go up, our wages would possibly go up, and in the idealist society of capitalism, basically, inflation wouldn't necessarily happen, which is complete and utter bullshit. Let's state that right here. It's bullshit. It's always going to happen. But inflation goes up. Why are profits also going up? Like, that shouldn't happen, really. I mean, the number is rather fucking just pointless because of the fact that, you know, the more money in circulation, the less valuable it actually is. That in a sense makes more sense. But Yeah, that's another thing. I think anarcho-communism, especially, I've been watching this one YouTube channel who's an anarcho-communist called Re-Education. I definitely recommend watching his videos. It's very intriguing, his ideas for a whole anarcho-communist society. And I've also seen the whole ANCAP society. I don't necessarily think that there's really a good incentive for the whole ANCAP society. I'm sorry. No, I don't think it would necessarily fucking work out. You want to try and say that it would try and solve all these fucking crises that we're living in, like the climate crisis. There's really, like, I would almost say there's nothing to help us. We are fucked in the worst ways possible, namely because very few people wanted more coin and they ultimately decided to fuck over everyone else around them. They are literal poison in the veins of any society. They will be considered far worse than Hitler. Like, Hitler was like sheer hatred. These motherfuckers, like, they will possibly extinguish the entirety of the human race because of them. Because of their actions. Because of their fucking short sightedness. Instead, just this. Instead of, hey, maybe we should be careful and think about the long run of what this could cause. They ultimately, they're like, fuck that! More money! And it's fucking insane. Like, and the thing is, the even worse part is, they will probably manage to avoid any sort of repercussions for their actions. They'll be able to fucking blast off to fucking Mars, at some time in the future, whenever everything just goes to shit here because of their actions. And they'll just fucking avoid any sort of consequence. And I think that's fucking insanity. I do think if the climate crisis is completely and utterly true, and it does seem that the science is going towards that, yeah, we are boned, and we won't learn anything from these consequences. It's fucking. It's almost like I have no reaction but to laugh in order to try and cope with the situation and seeming just absolute fucking despair. But that's really all I can do. Like, that is the way I will have to cope with the absolute despair of, like, oh my god, we are so fucked. Like, oh, it is hell world. But, okay, let's talk about police brutality and whatnot. I do think, instead of militarizing our police like America has done for the past I don't know how many fucking years, we should try and put more social workers who can actually deal with, say, mental breakdowns and whatnot. We don't. Instead, we have police that are completely willing to fucking kill people. Just because you're in a bad mood. Yeah, the whole dark triad personality really, really affects police and also the military, which I think we should go rein in more, but that's I'm black-pilled on many of these things. I don't think that we're really ever going to learn. Do I think that fascism is on the rise? Yes, ultimately I do. We have a bunch of dumb fucks within my generation who fall for it. And also a bunch of really, really disingenuous people. I can tell you one of them who's even younger than me and has a much bigger platform than I do, even though he's been kicked off of every major platform. And that's Nicky Boy Fuentes, the transporn having, cat boy loving doucher himself. Nick Fuentes is basically an open fucking Nazi, who really does want to bring us back to the fucking Dark Ages, and honestly, if that happens, I sincerely hope that he gets fucking nailed. Just, I would hope that he'd be possibly one of the first people burned at the fucking stake, considering his stupidity. You're not going to have any power, Nicky boy. That ain't gonna happen. Fucking troglodyte cretin. He's nothing more than a cretin. Don't care for him. Never have. Never will. I think he just looks like a fucking cretin. He looks like that one dude that even if you were like one of the nicest people, you would want him shoved into a locker, like, and you would want like just his skull bashed into a locker door. He is that kind of person. But yeah, as I was saying, I've also been very, very uh, pro trans rights and whatnot. I'm perfectly fine with trans people. The pronoun thing sometimes it can be rather weird. The non-binary thing, I don't really completely understand it, but I'm perfectly willing to provide common decency and respect to people. Not it's not that hard. I don't know why a lot of people think it's so fucking hard. No, it's not. And the whole groomer thing, I don't believe that trans people are groomers. Like, that's fucking idiotic. I do think that the whole idea of queer education can be used for benefits of everyone around them. Queer acceptance, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Um, I would like to see more queer representation in movies. There's so much that can be done, and it'd be so fucking interesting to see. But being Americans, yeah, like, okay, along with media and representation, I don't really care for a lot of modern movies nowadays. They just like if they try and do something like that, it's just mere pandering, and everyone knows it is. I mean, like every time fucking Disney goes, "I first gay character," we all know it's fucking pandering. And even if like it's an actual effort, like say the movie Strange World, they're not going to. They go to no lengths to actually promote the movie, even if the movie is legitimately great. Uh, I don't care for Disney. I mean, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Kingdom Hearts, but I love Kingdom Hearts for its wacky ass nonsensical story and the characters. I don't really care for the whole Disney side of things. You could remove a lot of the Disney shit, like a lot of the Disney fluff, and I'd be like, okay, cool, whatever. I'd be completely okay with it. The the original characters in Kingdom Hearts are really what I'm going for. I love Luxord as a character. Zigbar is a fantastic villain. Xehanort, fantastic villain, who ultimately just rather than just pure villain, he's actually much more of an antagonist in the sense of he has this opposing point of view that you actually understand where he's coming from. Same thing as Ericus. Ericus is basically the extreme opposite of Xehanort. Sora, and you can fight me on this, I don't care. Here's my hot take. Kingdom Hearts 3 is the best representation of Sora. We get to see Sora have more nuance in his character. He's not this super happy, cheery-go-lucky type character. He has problems. He suffers from doubt. And especially in Kingdom Hearts 3, whenever you enter into the fucking Keyblade graveyard the first time, when everything just goes to shit, that to me was possibly my favorite fucking character moment in all of Kingdom Hearts for Sora. And then there was also whenever he rescues Kairi and Remind, when you feel the desperation in the voice acting. Haley Joel Osment, fucking nailed it here when he's like, it's only two, I can do it. And he's just desperate to get Kyrie back. And then you also kind of see the cost of like bringing Kyrie back. That was something. But yeah, I guess you could say I'm a very libertine person. My sense of morality is, do I want people to suffer? No, not really. I mean, unless they actually fucking deserve it. There are very, very few people in this world that truly fucking deserve it. I can possibly list a few because of what they have done. Rush Limbaugh is, well, he's already dead, but I'm glad that every time I speak of him, he's rolling in his goddamn grave like a fucking rotisserie so much that we can get free energy out of it. Hey, what do you know? A perpetual motion machine. Shouldn't be possible, but hey, yeah, here we are. I guess it's possible now. But what else is there? Pop culture, the whole woke thing. I couldn't care less. It's funny when people say go woke, go broke, and ultimately what happens is like, no, it's go woke and get your back broke because you're making so much fucking money and you have to carry it all. Like for real, the fact that people still say that, and ultimately the movies still make fucking billions and shit. I just it's like, yeah, okay, living, yeah, your reality makes no fucking sense, but you know, whatever, geeks and gamers. Say what you want, even if it doesn't condone to reality. But either way, I guess I wanted to send my political leanings and shit, and also with prisons. I forgot a couple. Prisons. I do believe in the idea of rehabilitative and representative justice. I do believe in innocent until proven guilty. And I'm sorry, but I will say, if a lot of the evidence points to you guilty, I'm going to think that you're guilty. Do I think that God should be in schools? No. No, I don't. I don't think that we should be forced to say the Pledge of Allegiance. If anything, that it makes me feel like some Jonestown shit, drinking the fucking Kool-Aid. No, thank you. I already know it's laced with cyanide, but it's got some really culty overtones. And then, like, I don't know what it is with people on Facebook, but I've seen some really freaky shit. Like, I've seen this one picture, and I know they probably didn't think about this, and I was probably just kind of looking a bit too deep into it. But, like, this one picture of a couple where the chick was in, like, this cattle cage, like, and it almost looked like a yoke for cattle, and it says just bread. I was like, this has got some really creepy undertones. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but that's really fucking creepy. I'm not joking. It's possibly one of the creepiest things that I've seen. Just downright fucking dystopian. And, you know, like, do what you want. But if people don't, like, if people point that out, you shouldn't be surprised. Like, yeah, it's fucking weird. But, you know, whatever. More power to you. If you're happy that you're pregnant, more power to you. Whatever. The whole racism debate, I do think that there are inherent problems within our society that we've basically just kind of let fester and has turned to what it is now. The whole idea of systemic racism is the idea that various different policies from the past are actually affecting various different marginalized people now. Completely true. I'm sorry if you don't like that. Yeah, you're in the. How can I say? You're fucking wrong. Ultimately, you don't think that things like redlining and whatnot have long-lasting consequences in the formation of ghettos. Like, that's basically just what happens. Like, yeah, I fail to fucking realize why you fall for this shit. But yeah, I will say there's that. I do believe in rehabilitative justice because apparently punitive justice ain't fucking working. Our recidivism rate is already like it's higher than it's way higher than it needs to be. We need to lower that shit. And I've seen people try to say punitive justice and how will they learn their lesson. I just sat there like, you rehabilitate them, actually help them to reintegrate into society. Uh, Again, I mean, I shouldn't. I really shouldn't be surprised at how fucking dense a lot of people are, but yeah, it's fucking Americans. No, that. But if we're bringing religion to school, I'd say treat it like fucking mythology. And I've seen a lot of people go, like I've told people my exact thoughts on this. It's like treat it like fucking mythology. Like school isn't a fucking church. Instead, what you're going to be learning is like, okay, what builds these religions? Like, what are their supposed main tenets about them? And also, another thing in our schools, philosophy should be possibly one of the most important fucking subjects. The fact that America does not teach philosophy except for like almost as a fucking pretty much as an elective. It shouldn't be an elective. I'm sorry. No. The fact that we treat it as such is fucking insanity. Philosophy is merely the art of thinking. It teaches you how to think, how to make cogent and coherent arguments. And the fact that we treat it as such is like America has had a history of anti-intellectualism and it really needs to fucking stop. But then again, I mean, America's never really been like this whole super bastion of progress. Which I think is fucking sad considering that we live, we'll call our country the best in the fucking world. American exceptionalism, it's fucking retarded. No, I'm not going to censor my speech here. I say what it is. Also, here's another thing about my insults. One, I do not call people with actual disabilities retarded. No, I'm not doing that. Willful stupidity, I will call it what it is. It is willful stupidity. One, I always like if I'm going to go into a debate, I would want everyone to be honest. Like that shouldn't be so fucking hard to do. Like the fact that we have to have a discussion on honesty, and honestly, if I were to call you out on on being dishonest, I would lose respect for you. And there are those who like fall into a bad habit, like okay, fallacious habits. I can understand that. There are some bad habits to me. I'm not really good at speaking. I'm not necessarily that great at it, but I'm I'm trying. I'm trying to bring my thoughts out there. Trying to do better speaking. Uh, but yeah, very. But I'm also going to say for comedy, I like some dark, kind of offensive comedy. Like the thing with comedy is you don't punch down like the fucking idiot, like Stephen fucking Crowder. Like he's not funny. Like I'll say it to you right now. I don't think he's funny. I would rather watch like paint dry than watch fucking Stephen fucking Crowder. And the funny thing is, I've actually done that. I have watched paint dry before watching Stephen Crowder, and I enjoyed watching the paint dry. That is, oh my god, how? How can you be so fucking bad that I would rather watch paint dry? Not even just that, he's also one of the most disingenuous hacks out there, along with a lot of people on the right. But another thing, like with religion, I don't believe in a god. Of course, I mean, people should already know if they've seen my fucking Satanist video. Satanism, pretty based. Uh, in a way, I do think like the whole like fascism is coming from the religious right. A lot of the religious right, and I do think that they need to be fucking like, if anything, curb checked, but rather intellectually curb checked and just be made complete fucking fools. Also, I do think that we should have like fucking just mere IQ tests in order to enter within the government, and then we probably wouldn't have people like fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm sorry, Georgians. I'm sorry that you have to deal with her stupid ass. But she is. Oh my god. We can at least say that she's like entertaining, I guess, but. Oh god. I listen to her and I'm just like, please let me blow my brains out. Please. Suicide is the best option now. Also, another thing. Suicide and assisted suicide. Even if I were to disagree, if someone wanted to do suicide, I would still say that they deserve that is their most solemn right. It is basically, say, from the libertarian like self ownership. It is the ultimate act of self ownership because you are placing your fate in your own hands. You are taking your fate by your own hands. That is the ultimate act of self ownership that you could ever do. And I know a lot of people would probably disagree with that fucking statement, but even if I don't like suicide, I still respect it in the sense of it is the final decision. And people like to try and say it's murder. It's not. Murder would be like contemplated, contemplated killing of someone else. Do I think that companies need to be taxed more? Yeah, I guess. Even though it's not really going to happen, if anything, like the way that they're making profits off the backs of literally every fucking worker. I do like the idea of unions, from what I understand. I think it is a good thing. Ultimately, I do think like workers' rights. They are a good thing in the fact that like it took so many fucking years to get like basic fucking rights, and not even just that, but we've also had like worker wars and shit here in America. as far as I remember, none of that was taught in schools. Like, I am immensely fucking surprised. I didn't fucking learn, like, about the Battle of Blair Mountain, I believe. I didn't learn about that until, like, last year. And I was watching another YouTuber, Demon Mama. Uh, if anything, I would like to try and go into debate, learn more on the left side, see whether I agree or disagree on some things, whether I would find it practical. I think, if anything, what companies focus on is just shareholders. Stop doing that. Stop. It is an unmitigated disaster. It's not even a bad concept. It's an unmitigated disaster of a concept. And we've been doing it for way too long. But I definitely enjoy, stuff like that. And I like, you know, uh, I'm guessing this is just a typical rant. But either way, so I guess that'll be it. So, bitches, bros, and NB hoes, peace out, stay based.